into it. And we are live. And we have, welcome to Jailhouse Parlor Podcast. We have Blink-180 Deux. It's been taking a while to actually get this together, but we've finally made it.
We're
And
here.
We are here. We're questionably queer.
and
Very
and
questionably.
and of course, Brett decided to eat the I Eat Ass t-shirt because we're professionals. So,
Ladies,
That's what we do.
So if you don't know, for anyone that's just a follower of JHP, which is like two people, including myself, we have Brett in the top right, we have Mike in the bottom left, and we have John in the bottom right. And this makes up the tribute band Blink-180 Deux. For those of you who don't know, there's this really like pretty cool band back in the day that's still around called Blink-182, and they kind of ran a lot of our teenage years.
Oh,
These fuckers loved them so much they decided to imitate them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Accurate.
it's like I
Oh,
channel
fuck.
them on a day-to-day.
I even had a kid just so I could feel like Mark Hoppus more.
You are channeling the dad bod energy basically. Like
Pretty much, yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm proud of that.
we actually before the podcast got started, we were waiting for John to get in here. John has a child. We're not going to say where he got it, and
Nope.
we
China.
we actually have
Dumpster.
solid bets that your child is somehow going to crash this podcast. We don't know how, we don't know what way, but like
Yeah, we'll see. She's sleeping, so we're good. I try to time it like that.
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Um, as a quick direction, I should have said this beforehand. If anyone needs to leave the podcast, just leave the webcam on, or just at least leave your phone as is, just so that the whole production doesn't get shifted and half my face ends up where Brett is now, in terms of the show. So
Word.
I guess the original question to start is what. I guess we could go individually, from Brett to Mike to John, what I guess individually got you guys so motivated about I guess music in general, and then eventually to find each other, I guess, and do a tribute band to Blink.
Starting with me.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I think, and before I get like ahead of ourselves, I think we all like Blink was such an influence as far as getting into music. And okay, so I had like no direction as far as music growing up. I just listened to what my neighbors listened to. Like that was you listen to what was on the radio, whatever. So it was like a lot of rap, and I was like misguided. And
By
then
the rap.
it was like, I guess I like this. Um, Linkin Park was a good like bridge because they were kind of like new metal, rap, rock
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then Blink released the self-titled, and I was like, this is a whole nother genre. Like, why did I not know this music existed? And so I did a deep dive, and just Blink became like my soundtrack for like the rest of my life. I don't know. So, I mean, it influenced me in that regard. I picked up a guitar for the first time, and then I guess the rest is history kind of thing. As far as meeting John and Mike, we were all in individual bands, and they could just elaborate more on how we all met. But um, we were all in individual bands, which didn't work out. And then they were kind of doing the Blink thing already, and I joined them. But I'd like for them to tell that side of the story because they had already started, and I kind of joined
Okay,
after.
so I actually started this
That's a
wrong.
fucking story.
Because apparently Mike and John are the actual brainchilds of
Yeah.
180 Do, and they're just like, you know what, you're cool. Come on, you can.
Kinda.
Actually.
Okay,
It's
so
just
I'm
a bit.
gonna keep
So I'll
on.
pass the torch on that.
I'm
note.
I'm gonna shove it back in your face a little bit because I want to know like I at least want to get
Okay.
like the very or the interesting detail for me is like what was the age range or even specific age, especially for picking up a guitar. Um,
I think okay. So 8th grade Christmas, I was. I don't know if John and Mike or you, Aaron, could even relate, but like for some reason, paintball was a huge thing. Like
Yeah.
everyone played
Orlando
paintball.
Yes.
paintball and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so for Christmas, I was like weighing in on if I wanted a paintball gun or a guitar, and I don't know, like it was like really 50-50 for me. I was like, do I want to fit in with paintball or like learn these Blink songs for this album that just came out, and I don't know, just I don't even really know what the defining factor was, but I just picked up a guitar instead.
Nice.
Can you
So
imagine though?
oh, but here's the thing. Like, I think some people would have the perspective. It's like, well, that gun would probably have gotten like this dishandled or put away or sold off eventually. While this
For sure. I'm
guitar,
glad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think the better question, or I find it a more amusing question, is like, what do you think if on those two tracks of your life, if you could like make a guess at both, which has caused you more pain emotionally and physically? Like getting
Oh
shot in the
man, my
ass, getting calloused on your fingers, and all the bitches you thought you were gonna get with that guitar.
I'm sure paintball would have been a way lamer route.
So you think you would have been
Um,
a really bad paintball player?
oh for sure. I'm not athletic for shit. I have such bad aim. I can't. I don't know. I'm so glad I picked up guitar. As far as pain, it's probably equal
Hmm. Yeah,
on my soul.
yeah, because you're deep like that. Like,
Just my yeah. Well, so it's funny you say, and I don't. That's why I got the Blink tattoo
mhm.
because every tattoo needs a story, right? So they in my mind they were the reason I picked up a guitar, and I was like, I owe this whole path
Yeah,
to them.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I met so many people and because of them.
yeah, definitely. And you guys like, I could say this now just for having gone to the Bombshell show you guys had a few months ago, and having been to the newer version of Blink back before I was dating my current girlfriend. We were there in Tampa when it had All American Rejects, A Day to Remember, and Blink,
Yeah.
and I recognized it when the California album came out, but it's a good concert still. But I really wish I hadn't been so sheltered in my upbringing to have actually gone when the original trio was there and that nasally voice was carrying our hearts along.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm missing you
yeah.
some Tom.
Yeah.
It's not a bad show. It's just not the same.
Well, it's
Like we went. Like I went and I got to see the Enema 20th anniversary sets back in July of last year, and like it was fun. I had a good time, but like not hearing Tom talk about fucking
don't waste our
uh
time.
just just like fucking aliens exist. It's like it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not bad. It's just not the same.
Yeah. All
I
right.
think Skiba does a pretty good job. People will give
Yeah.
him flack, but he
Like
does a
moving
great job.
forward, like he did like I don't dislike California and I don't dislike Nine. Like they're good records.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just it's not like going back and doing those old songs. It just doesn't quite
Here's
fit
a
as well
so
for
here's
some
a
of them.
here's a layman's question because I went into even plus 44 after Blink broke up, and I really enjoyed that. Is there
Good stuff.
yeah, it was good stuff. Is there some sort of fusion then? Because what I realized when I was listening to California was that Mark and what's the guy's name again that's taking Tom's place?
Matt.
Matt, thank you. I literally looked this up like 2 days ago, but I've forgotten everything. They sound the same. Like their voices are quite the same, and it kind of made me go, "This is a very different band now." It's got elements of Plus 44, because it's just Tom can sing all the time without singing now because of how similar him and Matt's. I don't even know the right technical term, but their vocal range or what um,
Their
note
pitch.
range they hit.
Yeah. I definitely felt that way when they dropped that first song, "Bored to Death." Like I had a
Yeah,
hard time differentiating between the two voices, but
yeah.
now
Yeah.
it's like night and day. It's like it's I don't
They've
like
they've they've
after listening to
differentiated
them, they
more.
don't sound the same at all.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
it's just you just become so accustomed to it that you instinctively hear the differences in it.
yeah,
Hmm.
and how they pronounce words
Um,
and stuff.
hmm
Yeah. I've
and
always said like I think that Matt is like a better live performer,
Hmm.
but like in comparison to like Tom's songwriting skills, like it's like night and day. Like the stories that they could tell, the songs they could put together, the riffs that they had. Like Matt isn't quite there, but like live, it's great to see like everything getting pulled off and not just some like drunken nasally,
simple the hood version of it.
which
Fuck.
is what we all love. But I mean, it was definitely
There's
adjustment
something
to see it
there's
live.
something about growing up and wanting a good performance instead of wanting to go to a drunk fest and you don't even care if it sounds good. Like
Yeah.
you're getting old when you have standards.
I kind of, I mean, it depends on the venue. Like, if I'm going to a small venue, like, I kind of want the punk band to be shitty.
Well, yeah. If it's a punk band,
True.
but like
Yeah.
I'm speaking specifically if you go to like a Blink concert. It's like you guys have been doing
Yeah.
this for as long as I've been alive. You like you need to
Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
this out a little bit there, bud.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, man, like I went and saw Angels and Airwaves back in September, and it was
Oh.
probably the best show the best Tom has ever sounded in his entire fucking career.
Oh,
Like
man.
it was amazing.
I need to go track that down. I actually re-listened to some Angels and Airwaves songs, and I was like, wow, I was an emotional punk a few years ago. Jesus Christ. Like, some of the
Yeah.
songs were, like, so soul important to me because I was such a depressive individual that, like, what is very, perhaps, simple songwriting
Mhm.
just hits so much differently then. And now my life is way more stable, so it just doesn't hit like it did. And I think it's more me than the music and the writing. So,
Yeah.
torch passing, Mike. What
What's up?
gets? I think we broke this down when you were on JHP, but like let's Blink 180 do focus it a bit on you when you decided to start hitting things with rhythm and
Uh,
got
When he
with
came out of the
John,
womb.
decided to have a baby,
yeah,
and then
pretty much, man.
got an extra like co-parent on this band.
Um, well, like so, yeah. Like I've always wanted to play drums since I was like a wee lad, and then I wasn't allowed to until I learned two instruments, and I learned piano and trumpet, and then my parents were like, "Okay, cool, you can do drums in school. All right, sweet." So I did that for like 2.5 years, and they're like, "All right, you stuck with it. Now get straight A's." All right, cool, I got straight A's. And then I got a drum set. I got a drum set like 13 or 14, and then I got my drum set Christmas of 2004, 2005. My grades, social life, and everything else tanked because all I did was come home and play drums for 8 hours a day. I didn't give a shit. I got what I wanted. It took a fucking forever, but I got it. And then I was like, cool. I brought home every book in the school music library to learn to like teach myself drums because our band director hated percussionists and didn't want me to learn how to play drums because he was a fucking asshole.
Wow.
And then I did out of spite. And I became the best goddamn drummer in that entire school. And then I was like, all right, cool. I'm doing this. I'm gonna learn all these Blink songs. I learned all these Blink songs, and it was fun. And like I got into Blink because I grew up skateboarding very poorly with my next door neighbors and everybody else who was on the street. Like my neighbor's dad built a quarter pipe in the driveway, and we would set it up on one side, and we had one of those giant green power boxes in my front yard.
Yes.
And so we would take plywood. And build up across the driveway, through the grass, up to the box, and make a really shitty "No child should ever be on half pipe."
Nice.
Because boy, let me tell you the amount of death that almost happened on that. It's a large amount of numbers. Times people shouldn't have lived. And so we grew up skateboarding, and like we'd have one of those shitty little boom boxes that you toss a CD in the top, and it was like back in the day when you would get those demo discs from Pizza Hut. Like we had the Tony Hawk demo disc, and you could play the fucking soundtrack from Tony Hawk on that. So it was that, and we had like some Green Day record. I think it was we had Dookie, and then Enema came out. We had Enema and Toy Page, and some Static X was in there at one point. Slipknot. I'm trying to remember maybe even some like Iron Maiden. But like it was this huge eclectic fucking like set of music. But like that's hardcore how I got into Blink and like punk rock in general. And then I was like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna play all this on drums, and I did that. And then I started playing in bands. I'll always have a cover of Blink here or there in our sets, just because it was easy to do. It was easy for them to play, and I already knew all the songs.
It's like we could just do
and
this.
then-
Yeah, we could totally do this.
Yeah,
throw it in there.
yeah, fine. We can learn the song in like 5 minutes. It's fine, no big deal. Mike already knows it. Great, easy peasy. That's the hard part. And you fuck it up, nobody even notices, so you're good. And then I was in a band at a time in 2010, and we played a show, and John's band opened for us. It was Chasing Cars,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we played at Daytona. And there's actually footage of this show that somebody recorded on an iPod, like Nano or whatever, when iPod Nanos had fucking cameras on them.
Yeah.
It's really shitty audio and even worse video footage, if you could even imagine. But it's on YouTube. You look up September Divide. It's on YouTube. That's where I met John the first time, and then fast forward 3 years, we played another show at this place in Cocoa Village that was called the 321 Local, where who was it? Set It Off closed out the show.
Yeah.
And we met again, and that was cool. And then we played a couple of shows together. We did a little weekend tour.
Mm-hmm.
That was like 2014. And
All the way up to Georgia.
All the way up to Georgia. Boy, that was super fun. And then their drummer ended up leaving. I ended up coming to fill in and fill that spot in another close call.
This is very satisfying as someone who like went through the Wikipedia page like years ago on how Blink actually got Travis on.
It's very similar.
It's
very similar. Wait, it gets even more similar to how this story goes.
Oh wait,
so,
yeah.
Fast forward a few more.
Wait, is Brett
2
actually Matt and not
two,
Tom?
3 years. Hold on. We'll get there. Hold on. So we So was it fast forward a couple years to January of 2005 when we get word that Tom is leaving Blink again, and so we had this show coming up where we were going to open for the Ataris at Back Booth, and then
You just casually
a little
dropped
before
that.
the show. That's my place marker for this.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3 years later, and similar to how Tom wasn't responding to any communications to Blink, our guitar player stopped talking to us, and we all lived in the same fucking house.
Mhm.
He was just gone all the time, and like we couldn't get him over text messages into rehearsals or anything.
So
and it turned and so
this band that it was you and John and him, right?
yeah,
Okay.
me, John, and our
were
other
you
guitar
guys,
player.
You guys, was this where the initial incarnation of a Blink cover band was, or was this just its own?
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
It
We did
hasn't- It hasn't happened yet because I'm trying to define
No.
it. You three
Yeah.
had a band, and were you guys just trying to do original music and everything?
Mhm.
Yep, we did originals and we did do covers. We had this montage we had in our set of like 5 or 6 different songs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool. But it got to a point where like Bobby wasn't talking to us, and we didn't find out till later that the reason he didn't want to talk to us is that like I kind of yelled at him one day about he would always get a little drunk after shows and sometimes be like, I don't get why people don't take us more seriously, and it was like, well, I kind of like yelled at him because every night he would do this. We had shows, and
He'd get
like, I
he'd
yelled
get
at him,
drunk,
I was
acting
like-
ass and...
well, he wasn't acting ass. He was like on the ride home. He's just like, I don't get why people don't take us seriously, man. And I kind of like to look at him like, because you don't fucking practice, dude. Like, you don't take yourself seriously. Nobody's gonna take you seriously if you don't take yourself seriously. And I was like really shitty about it, and I kind of feel a little bad, but at the same time, I don't. Cause like I go and I
wouldn't.
practice 3-4 hours a fucking day. You know, John sits in his fucking room and practice bass to fucking, you know, metalcore songs, and it's like, so
Yep.
like we're sitting there practicing, and but like I
Okay,
sent
can
Bobby like these.
I'm gonna stop you. Just like, I feel like there's a new one that's a very specific example that a layman that has no music background doesn't understand, and that's very much me right now. I
What?
don't know the difference between metalcore and like a simple fucking bass line of maybe something more poppy, but if John's practicing bass to metalcore, is that just a certain level of intensity by a certain magnitude, or like why is that example you gave so...
Oh, because like that's just the music that was coming out of his room while he was practicing.
Okay,
I just
Yeah.
assume, yeah.
anecdotal
It's
comments, okay.
it's definitely not easy music. It's
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah.
syncopated, off time. You know,
Well, it just reminds me that Rush is not metalcore, obviously, but Rush's lead singer plays bass and does like
Mhm.
synth with his feet.
yeah, and just goes fucking
Yeah.
crazy with bass for some reason. Like he gets bass solos, I guess, or something like that. I've never listened to much
Geddy
of Rush.
Lee, yo.
Yeah.
Go Monsters.
But anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so like that was the whole thing, and then so he like straight up after we played the show just dipped out, wouldn't talk to him. Like me and John wanted to get back together, and we all wanted to write music and go move forward and everything, and
Mhm.
and Bobby just kind of like dipped out, and we were like, all right, cool, well, we're just gonna keep playing music. So at one point during another Close Calls run, we played a show at USF, and we did an original set, and we did a cover set. We just did Blink songs, and we had Brett there for that. And that was the day before Taco Bell officially started doing breakfast, and we got in on a soft opening at a Taco Bell at like 8 in the morning, and we got breakfast from Taco Bell before everybody else.
Dude, the waffle taco.
Dude, His Holiness the Waffle Taco. I'm so sad he's gone.
It was so funny.
Why
good.
was Brett there with you guys? Like,
so we could have the two guitar players, or Brett could play guitar and Bobby could sing.
Okay.
Because to Bobby's credit, he was a better vocalist than he was a guitar player, but he was still fairly mediocre at both because he didn't practice. Yeah, it's what are you gonna do?
Talent can get you in the door, but if you want to build a house, you got to keep practicing.
Exactly. So we did that. So that was kind of the very first foundation of the whole Blink cover band thing. So then, after another Close Call essentially split up, we pulled a Mark and Travis, and we're like, well, we're gonna keep playing music. And John had put out on the internet on Craigslist, he was looking for somebody to do, be a guitar player in a Blink cover band, and that's when we met Omar, our friend Omar, who was.
Did you know him before this?
I love watching John.
I didn't.
Just the memories, man. I'm just like, oh my god.
So I never knew Omar before this, but he apparently a long time ago, when I was doing marching band in high school, subbed in for my band at the time in September Divide and played drums for like a month because I was just so like my marching band schedule was just so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't be in a band, but they had shows and they wanted to keep playing. I was like, cool, man. Like, I'll just be back in a month. We'll be done. December rolls around. No big deal. And they were like, all right, cool. So it turns out Omar, once upon a time, under the stage name of Paco, was playing fucking drums in my band. I learned this like a little after we had met him and stuff. I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I never knew him, but I apparently did. So then we hooked up with Omar and we started practicing and we did a bunch of stuff. That was our foot in the door. We had this whole thing going. It was the three of us for a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went through like 3 different names doing that, and then we had a show booked for Christmas Eve of 2016, and some shit went down at Sam Ash, where I was working at the time, and Omar was doing some shady shit. So Omar just vanished off the face of the earth for legal reasons. And we had this show coming up in like 2 weeks, and we're like, well, Omar's gone. Who do we know that knows some Blink songs and we could call up and could fill in 2 weeks? How about Brett? He's played Blink songs with us before. So we called up Brett, and we're like, hey, man, here's our 4-hour set list. Try and get some of this down, and we can just, it'll be at a bar, so nobody will really pay attention anyway, and we'll just like stumble our way through it. And 2 weeks later, we played a 4-hour Blink set on Christmas. And
did you all stumble through that set, or did Brett?
Oh boy, it was. I mean, like, to be fair, it was. I don't think we stumbled through it for the most part, but 4 hours is a long time when you're playing Blink-182 songs with no click.
Yeah.
I want to add a point of view. The times I had played with them, and even the times I've played on stage in general, I was only ever a guitarist. So not only were they asking me to, fill in guitar, but I'm filling this role of Tom, which, I mean, I love to sing in the car, and I sing for fun, but I've never sung for a set, let alone for 4 hours.
There's a clear difference between shower performances and going, hey, we need you to actually find your vocal talent and perform this in front of humans.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. And that was the most money we had ever made at the time playing fucking music. I think the 3 of us together have never made more. Like, that was a huge deal. We showed up, we played for like 4 hours, and we made $300.
That's still $300 each or $300 total?
No, total.
Yeah,
total.
I figured, yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what the music income is, and it's usually dick. So.
Well, I mean, like, we kept going back to that same place, which was the Rock Bar in Daytona, and bless Mike Lucas for always paying us when we showed up to play. Like, he always paid us It didn't matter our set. We were always through. He always managed to pay us, and it was like really cool that was our first professional introduction in the tribute band world, where we met up with those guys from Nirvana and went from there, and played House of Blues in South Carolina with them, and Orlando. Helped us solidify our way kind of into the scene and let us play like the Social and get like legit gigs at Will's Pub that we could bring in a draw and like make money doing that.
Yeah, nah, that's great. That's actually
really
great
dope.
on him, because that's actually in the stand-up comedy world. You don't get paid off performance. You just get paid that you showed up and did your set. And so even if you bomb hard, you still get paid.
I mean, that's the way it should be no matter what. Like, that's the way it should be in music. It's like, I'm not here to fill your club or your bar. And, like, I can promote too, but if you're not going to fucking promote, don't fucking put the fact that you didn't promote your shit on me. Like, if I'm coming from out of town, of course nobody around you is going to know who the fuck I am. How is it my job to solely, promote your shit? Like, if your venue is as good as it should be and you're hiring me for this amount of money or whatever, like, you're hiring me. Like, you don't tell your bartenders to show up and be like, sorry, you're not getting paid today. Yeah. Your cooks or whatever. Like, they work for tips, but like still, like they still make an hourly fucking wage. Like,
you gotta pay them.
It's I never understand how younger musicians and stuff like do that. Like, exposure doesn't pay my fucking rent.
Yeah, no.
And it's starting to change. Like, you're starting to see a lot of production companies, especially with this whole like COVID thing, that a lot of bars and restaurants are just like having to close and stuff, and it's kind of like, and some music venues and some promoters, a lot of promoters and promotion companies are like going out, and it's like good, because a lot of them are shitty anyway.
Yes, like those that have good rep and good core values might actually persevere. Mm-hmm. So you get just all the chaff just gets blown away with COVID. And if they're good, for those that were good and died out, if they're good, they'll come back. If they're good and they want to do it, they'll come back. Like, there's some things you can't get away from. Alrighty. So, John.
True.
That's pretty much
yes.
I just got to make the comment that before, when Omar was mentioned, you had that kind of face that just said, that motherfucker. Like, this motherfucker. So, John, what's your origin story?
Okay, so I, like the rest of my beautiful bandmates, I think I got my first bass when I was in 7th grade, however old you are in 7th grade, 12, 13, I don't know, whatever. And the only reason why I got a bass was because my friend down the street where I was living and growing up in Michigan had got a guitar, and he said he wanted to start a band. And my dad said, I don't even know what I wanted to play, I just knew that I wanted to be in a band.
Yeah.
So my dad was like, look, you should pick up the bass. Everyone needs a good bass player. Like any guitar, he said any guitar player can pick up a bass and play, but he goes, everyone will look for a good bass player. So I was like, okay, so I'll pick up the bass. So I got my first bass maybe for my birthday. And at the time I was like growing up in church. So like I grew up playing a lot of church music. And my like classical upbringing, I actually was playing the viola in 5th grade orchestra. And I played the viola probably from 5th grade all the way up until my senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. So like I had that classical background of stringed instruments and reading music, and then enter me playing the bass in 7th grade. And then because I was growing up in church, I was only allowed to listen to certain music, and I never really wanted to like listen to anything my dad wanted me to listen to. And my mom really didn't care about anything.
She's not the musical. So like your dad has an opinion on like what instrument you should play. He's the musician out of the two of them.
Exactly, yeah. And being that I was growing up in church and we were a pretty strict family, I could only like shop at certain places for music. Mm-hmm. So luckily I went to like a Christian CD store, mm-hmm. and like the first 2 records that I bought was MXPX Life in General and POD's like Payable on Death. And like I listened to those records like front to back, top to bottom all the time. And my dad was like, if you want to play this type of music, he's like, I won't condone it. He goes, just keep it down. I was like, okay. So I just listened to those records and like learned how to play them all. And like that was like my kind of introduction to like playing rock and roll. Fast forward to me playing bass in high school, I started getting really big into jazz because that's what my dad was listening to all the time. Fortunately for me, there was a bass player by the name of Victor Wooten, you may have heard of. He taught jazz band down the road from my high school, so I
Ooh.
took some lessons from him for about a month,
Is he like a
which
small
was
legend in the jazz community, basically, or is he
he's like
just
probably like one of the top like bass players like in the world of all
okay?
time.
Oh,
Who?
so
He's
he's
got he's got like solo records on bass out and stuff like that. So he's really talented. I'd say he's like a super popular bass player among like bass players.
hmm
Um, so amongst listening to all of that and like growing like in jazz and stuff like that, I was one of those kids who would come home every day from school and watch Total Request Live, TRL,
Hell yeah.
and like watching that and like I remember the first Blink song that I ever heard was Adam's song, and I thought it
Oh,
was
way to start
super.
on a downer, dude.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Like all
I
the
thought it
small
was
things
super
is kind of
fucking
where you should
cool.
start, and then you can go from the emotional range from there, man. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. No, I just thought it was super fucking cool that there was a bass player that was singing
Yeah,
also, and I never really seen that before. Although I was listening to MXPX, I'd never really seen them live before. The entire time I was listening to them, I just thought it was they're guitar players singing.
yeah, because
Like that's just
that's
what
sort
I
of the
thought.
trope infrastructure setup for most bands is that like the lead guitarist is also the singer and the bass player is just kind of in the background, like doing his job.
Yes.
Maybe the
hmm
drummer is like eccentric or something like that, but that's like there's your trio and fly. Um,
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, watching that, I was like, that's pretty fucking cool.
yeah.
And I started to like do that, and that's when I started to get into Blink. I unfortunately was never able to see them before 2005, I think,
Mm-hmm.
when they were like the original
Trio.
trio. But I did see them when they got back together in 2009, eight or
Yeah.
nine.
Yeah.
Some friends of mine flew out to Las Vegas to their very first show to see them, and that was like the first time I'd ever seen Blink, which was insane. But I
That's
mean, ever
awesome. I didn't
since,
know that.
yeah, ever since I saw Adam's song is like my kind of intro to Blink is when I wanted to start learning the music and playing bass. As far as Blink-182 goes, I mean, you got most of the story so far.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where like I
Well,
kind of felt like morally, not morally, but just like felt like defeated. Like we played our own music for years and years and years.
yeah.
Nothing ever happened of it, and like there was nothing that like some of the guys I was in a band with like couldn't put the same amount of effort and passion
Yeah.
into it that I was. Like I
Yeah.
graduated college in '09 and like had a career lined up, worked for a little bit, lost my job, and like I was like, you know what? I was like, I love music so much, I'm really willing to put my life on hold just to like try and make it like
Yeah.
playing music,
Yeah.
you know? And like for me, that's where I was coming from, and like I never got that from anyone until I met like Mike and seeing that he had devoted most of his
His
entire
fucking
life to like
life, like
drums.
this.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Like, and
He's an anomaly.
Oh, he
yeah,
is.
he
He
really
is.
is.
You
And
well,
then when I met Brett, Brett was like just super fun, super cool guy, just like hanging out, and he was a really good guitar player playing in our cadence. And I remember watching him in that band, and I still listen to their music because it's fucking dank. But like,
My
nice.
heart. My heart.
I need to
but
track this down. I need to track
I was
this
like,
down.
this guy's cool, and he was drinking with us at the house, and he goes, yeah, I have a Blink tattoo, and we're like, oh, that's fucking sweet. And like that was way back in like 2013, maybe like 2012.
That was before we ever even really we would joke about it, but like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think it was really a serious concept.
yeah. It was never a serious concept, but
To have a tribute band for Blink.
to have
Right.
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then like, yeah, when all of our bands kind of fills it out at the same time, I think Mike and I's band fills it out first. And like I just put the ad on Craigslist just because I was like, you know what, Mike, look, let's just do it. Like let's just have fun. Like let's take the stress off of like trying to make our own music, trying to play shows, trying to promote ourselves. Like let's just have fun. Like we have the most fun
Yep.
playing Blink. Like Mike is amazing, still is amazing. Like if we ever record like a practice of ours, you will literally see Brett and I look at each other and just laugh and smile because Mike does this insane like shit all the time, and we're like, how in the fuck did he do that? And it's on time and it's perfect, and it's like
Like you
it's
listen,
amazing that
your eyes can't understand what your ears are saying.
no, you
So
can't at
like
all.
we look at each other like, you heard that, right? But like we're also
Exactly.
singing.
We're like, yeah,
you
sure,
heard that,
man.
right?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean
That's so fucking great.
yeah. And we just said, you know what, let's just have fun. Let's play Blink and let's see where it goes. And that's when I
Yeah.
put the ad on Craigslist, and we got this guy named Omar who is super sketchy, you know, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's one thing just to like it's one thing to like, you know, do you have your own thing going on, but like when other people are dependent on you, especially being a band, like it sucked. Like it was like like Mike said, 2 weeks before that Christmas Eve show that we had booked, it was the most money that we had ever planned on making playing music, whether
Yeah.
it be our own or someone else's.
Yeah.
And like this guy is nowhere to be found. I mean, he was in a hospital, but like
That's besides
you know
the
what?
point.
Like that's besides the point.
That was in like October, dude. That he was in the hospital, like because he went out for his hip surgery,
Yeah.
and then like that was when he just dipped. Like
Yeah.
he went out for hip surgery. He you know like, and then like and the whole reason this whole comes about is I did some work for him, like a side job when we were working at Sam Ash doing a system install for a church, and he owed me the money to pay for it. And he's like, all right, man. Well, I was just like, look, I want this symbol. Just pay me in the symbol. It's fine. Like we discount at Sam Ash, no big deal. Like I'll just take that in lieu of actual money because it was the amount of money he owed me was the symbol. It's like, all right, cool. So like 4 or 5 months later, it was a thin symbol. It had cracked, and I wanted to send it into Zildjian to get a new one. Lo and behold, in the system, I could not find the purchase order for it. Or the receipt to print out to send in.
What's the price line for a standard quality symbol from Zildjian then, I guess? Just to get
That
the
one in
monetary
particular.
value. Yeah.
That one in particular at the time was $265.
$265.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I wanted to replace it now, it's like $320. The price on symbols has gone way the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't find it, and so I brought it to our warehouse manager, and he's like, yeah, it's not in the system at all. Like you have stolen piece of equipment. And I was like, fuck. He's like, how? He's like, what happened? Is like, well, I just Omar used this to pay me. He's like, oh shit, okay, well let's get this taken care of. So this whole like investigation kind of got like, as I say investigation, like our ops manager started looking into shit in the system and found like
hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like
it wasn't that big. It wasn't that big. It wasn't that big. It was he had for one client who's like a drug lord out of fucking like
Pine Hills,
kind of down south. Yeah, who like has a compound.
A compound.
Like he had dude. They were talking about this guy.
With guards.
And no, like legitimately, I'm not even kidding. Like the way Jude and had been talking about this guy. It's like this guy had like put out a hit on Omar because he had essentially stolen like 65 grand from this dude, and like Omar got it all like taken care of or whatever. But like so he didn't have the hit on him anymore. But like It was shady for a while. I was like, God damn, dude, like what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Like I texted him like, yo, dude, like what's up with my symbol? Like why isn't it in the system to get it? Like Wally's like kind of like looking at me like I fucked up. And I mean like eventually everybody was like, don't worry, but like I ended up being in the intermediary like between all these people and Omar to like get everything fucking sorted out. Like I was like, what the fuck?
Did you ever think you were gonna like wake up in a ditch?
This is sketchy ass. Did I think I was gonna wake up in a ditch? No, but I thought I would wake up with Omar's head on my fucking porch.
Yeah.
Like when that shit was going down. Like it was definitely a sketchy time in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean to this day we still have never heard from him. Like nothing. Like we've seen like randomly pop up on Facebook here and there, but like
it sounds like he got in a bad way, and Mike basically had to play like secretary to that fuckery because it doesn't sound like Mike's just not an accessory.
I was just there, man.
Yeah, just
there.
Yeah,
Mike was just there. Yeah.
You were a casualty, but like on the front line.
Yeah. Way close. It's kind of like, ooh, wow, this is very intense. I didn't know Polk County went down like this, but damn. Son,
yeah,
like
for real. Yeah, we played like 3 or 4 shows with Omar, I think.
Yeah.
And
spread out over quite a long time.
Yeah, 2 weeks before Christmas Eve, I feel like maybe Brett, you can tell. I mean, our cadence, I think, was either breaking up or had broken up at that point.
we were like, we had broken up probably within the 6 months prior, and you guys reached out. You're like, hey, we don't want to bail on the show because we're gonna get paid. We'll split it.
Yeah.
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 And it's at a bar in Daytona, so if we fuck up, whatever.
We'll go to the beach afterwards
Yeah,
or
pretty
something like
much.
that.
Yeah,
Midnight walk.
exactly. So
And I
yeah,
was
it
like,
was
yeah.
So
yeah, those are some longer sets, but
yeah.
yeah, that was pretty much where we started. And like Mike said, the lead singer Nirvana was there and just checking us out, and like that kind of propelled us into playing with bigger shows. Of course, they've all been with them, but I mean, like it is what it is. I mean, I'm happy. Like
So
I
is that
think,
like is it
yeah,
like that night? Because I'm looking for like the landmark piece. Like, is it that night working with Nirvana out in Daytona that you guys decide like let's go the tribute band route and like
pretty
learn
much.
what that works
Well,
out?
we would do
Well,
the tribute band thing regardless. Like Omar, the way Omar done it is like
uh-oh.
like convinced us is like you could if you market yourself as a tribute band, you're taken a lot more seriously than a cover band.
Mm-hmm.
Because a tribute band is like that extra step up of like you take it a little more seriously. You know, you do the you kind of go a little more heavy on the emphasis of
Personality.
cloning yourself off their
Yeah,
personalities and stuff.
you have to become actors as well as musicians in a
Pretty
slight
much.
in a slight degree if you're going to bring that show or what that show would be with the actual artists.
Yeah, and you know you make a little more money. You know you've got like Nirvana, they do that. The Kiss tributes, all those guys like Mini Kiss. What else? Who else? Who the fuck else? You've got the guys who come through.
Journey. There's
Purple
Journey.
Rain.
Yeah.
The Purple Rain guys, the guys who do that. The Journey tributes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if I don't know if that it wasn't that night we decided though. Kinsley.
We're here.
I think it's when we decided to like go a little harder into it.
Well,
Was that sort of an eventual thing then? You guys just kind of like because you guys have that show out there in Daytona, which is like your first cover smell of tribute band thing, and then there's got to be like a slow progression of conversation where you guys are researching or talking to people in that understand that side of the scene better and going like no like this is gonna satisfy that have fun and be musicians thing.
Well,
think-
no. So like, what it was is like when Omar was in the band, we had decided to be a tribute band and take
Okay.
it from there, and do the whole take it seriously, but also have not too seriously that we can't have fun,
Yeah.
and try and like market it as such. That way, we'd be we'd be able to take ourselves seriously and get on those bigger shows. It was with Brett that he just wanted. We were like, hey, if you want to be part of this full time, dude, you can be part of this full time. Like, well, we're not looking for anybody right now, but like, we're gonna need to at some point. And then Brett did it, and then like, all right, cool. Now we're we're still having, it was just like we had fun. We just marketed ourselves as a tribute band. It's not hard to take it seriously, but like still have fun with it because we're just playing fucking Blink-182 songs. Cool. We make dick jokes on stage and we play the songs and we're happy. It's good. People pay us, $300 to go and do that.
Yeah. What was the point you were trying to get at, Brett? For we cut you off like 3 times.
No, it's all right. I'd take it personal.
You should.
I think part of meeting Nirvana was, I mean, like they really bridged a gap for us, and I mean, I don't know what we would or wouldn't have done if we never met them. To be honest, I feel like
Yeah, it's
they
true.
really we played some gnarly shows with them. I mean, they, for whatever reason, their bassist Ryan has like all these connections, and he's like, you guys, when he found out about us, he just like took us under their wing, kind of. And so I think like bridging between cover and tribute was like we really saw what that world was like with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my point.
It's kind of when you stand next to someone and watch and see the trail behind them and see the trail before them and what they have like prepped for. It's like, oh, this hike, it's very doable. Like
Yeah.
I get what you have in your rucksack and we can do this as well because you 3 apparently already have the discipline, talent, and willing to practice, and you guys have good chemistry as like friends and coworkers to just do the job. So like,
Yeah.
all the hard things of trying to do a creative venture are kind of handled. Like now it's
Yeah.
just now it's just like pandemic issues and scheduling and like where we're going issues. Like at that point, it's just scheduling issues.
Yeah, I mean, to put into perspective, I remember being in South Carolina with Nirvana,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we were about to maybe walk on stage, or like maybe we were crossing paths backstage with them.
Yeah.
And when any venue you're gonna have a wristband on, and they had given us wristbands because we were artists, and obviously we were allowed anywhere in the venue. And Ryan, the bass player from Nirvana, looks at us and goes, "Are you guys gonna wear those wristbands?" And I was like, "Don't we have to?" And he's like, "Dude, take them off. That's not tribute." And at that point, I was like, "This guy takes everything like down to the wristband on his wrist when he's walking on stage. Like he takes that
Yeah.
seriously."
It's like I am an actor. If I'm going to channel Kurt Cobain or whatever role he's playing in that, I can't remember.
Kurt Novosek.
Kurt Novosek, thank you, because it was Kurt Cobain, Groller, and Novosek then.
Oh, Dave. Wait, fuck. What's his name? Is it Kurt?
I think it's
Whatever.
Chris Novoselic, I think.
Chris
Novoselic.
Novoselic. Blah, 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 blah.
But yeah,
We don't know our Nirvana.
But that's a high detail to art. Like that's a high detail to like
Yeah.
everything has to like hit the point. If you're going to be a tribute to a legendary band, then they never wore that shit. Like they went on
Exactly,
and fucking did
yeah.
their shit. Like that's and it's not like Tom or any of them would have actually like followed code. Like unless you
No,
have, like,
man, they just
They take it. Nirvana takes it a step beyond. I feel like we always border on the more let's kind of have fun thing.
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of
He's-
feel a little silly.
Mhm.
Like if I were to wear like a fake lip ring and a wig or something.
Yeah. Because they do the full act. Like they try to do the dress up, the wardrobe,
Mhm.
the yeah.
yeah, I mean we do wardrobe and like gear, but like other than that, like
Yeah, we're not gonna.
I mean,
we're not gonna
yeah.
go that hard about it. Like,
yeah, a dick joke here and there, but like there's no way I can wear Converse on stage. I would die.
yeah. That's,
This is my attempt. I mean, like this fits, right?
that's
Yeah.
that's pretty straightforward. So then, like outside of how long ago did you guys cement that? Like Daytona was when?
26
Christmas 2016.
So it's now been like 3 years and like
3
5, 6
fucking
months.
years.
And you
Yep.
guys are just like
Yeah.
rolling with it quite regularly. Like, haven't had any serious hiccups since then, other than just maybe people moving around the state.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just like life, man. I mean like I obviously I take it seriously. I like to put my time and effort into it, but like I'm not gonna like bash any of these dudes or like bash myself for like
Well, you
not
have a,
having a show or like
yeah,
not
it's like you have a
stuff like
baby.
that. It's
You
like
have a baby in your hand right now.
yeah, well, not only that, but I mean it's just like it's like we all have life, man. And it's like we do it for fun and we do it because we love it. I mean we're not gonna
Yeah.
turn down a show just because we don't want to. I mean we're definitely gonna take the show and make it happen and put the best effort we can forward. But I mean it's not like I'm gonna call up Mike and be like, Mike, you can't play all the small things, bro. Like you're out of the band. Like I'm sorry. Like it's nothing like that serious. It's just like, hey man, we got a show. Let's roll with it. We're getting paid. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You guys have really like kind of hit into the, I guess, like the settling down phase a bit there. Because like one question I wanted to run on here, because you guys have gone through that phase of trying to do original music. Like, are any of you still interested in making your own music, or are you guys just in a phase of we're doing the tribute band? I mean, John's kind of starting a family and stuff like that. Like, where are each of you at individually on that?
I've never been confident in my songwriting, so I don't know. I think we have great chemistry, and like now would be, I'd love to hear what a song between the three of us turns into, but I don't know what's really holding us back from crossing that threshold. I guess we just haven't done it,
Yeah. Well, you guys have landed like a really good gig of doing something that just is fun. You love it, and you guys like. I think it's fun when it's so. Okay, so I'm gonna throw an esports reference in here. So I've been a big fan of League of Legends since like season 2, early on. What's up, dog? What's What's the pug's name?
Sorry.
What's the pug's
Kylo.
name? Kylo. Okay.
Kylo, come here, bud.
You guys got that dog back at like when the new Star Wars movie came out, like several years ago. You
Yes.
can't tell me that's not a Kylo Ren reference on that dog.
No, it absolutely
No,
is.
it
Like,
is.
100%.
sorry, like,
100%.
No, it's you're not even wouldn't even be mistaken in
in the slightest.
in assuming that it 100% is a Kylo Ren reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
But like, so
He's done.
the cross between I want to run is that there's this team in Europe called G2, and they're kind of been lauded for the last like year and a half as one of the best teams in the world. And what's understood about that team is that everyone on that team is so competent and so good at what they do that they will have their disagreements or discussions about how they think the game should be played, but there's no need to have a high demand environment in the team. Like the coach's job is more like not ego management per se, but keeping the boat rocking well and making sure that his players are confident, that they're having fun in what they're doing, and that's what actually ends up bringing the best out in them. And you guys, I think, just have only worried about having fun, and you guys are also independently like disciplined, or you care about what you do with your music, that there is no one ever feels like they have to babysit anyone other than like there's no babysitting happening between any of you.
No.
Like you guys know you guys will do the best you can. You all are satisfied with everyone's best attempts. And so you guys have just, I think, really probably been on a nice vacation as artists doing what you love. I know Mike, when he was on Jailhouse Parlor a couple episodes ago, I asked him like why he has such a nerd, like a hard on for Travis Barker and Blink-182 music when there's very likely far more complex or classical or something like that with percussion and drums out there. And if Mike wants to elaborate on it, I'll just do the quick sum, is that how Travis writes his percussion is just fun. Like it's just fun music to do and to play and to practice, and that's where like he's willing to throw the money down to get a GoPro and record himself, like doing these songs that are fucking coming close to 20 years old now. Like there's just something about it. Yeah. Don't like
Yeah.
like I'm 28
Don't
right now.
say that. don't say that. Ugh.
So like I think you guys have been on a really good tear from just hearing your stories. So I actually have an interest, and I'm curious to get John and Mike in on this from where Brett was going. I'm very curious on what you guys think about just doing original music just for the fun of it. Like forget the starving artist because there's kids to feed and games to be bought.
Yes.
I'm interested to hear like where Mike and John are on just what the original music lifestyle is and trying to have fun with that with this specific trio.
I mean, I was in an original band up until, or was it last year? Up until about September, August. I did that for about a year.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like it's not a bad thing to do. I would probably love to do it again. I think at this point though, like I would be, like Brett said, stoked to see what we could do as musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And see what we could pump out and put out for people. But at this point, I'm kind of also like over trying to start another band and do that, like and trying to market myself and push and push and push and push and push. I'm kind of at the point where I'm just like, look, man, I'll just go play drums for Katy Perry. Just let me just get that audition tape out there and go do that.
Yeah, and that's
Like
fair.
I'll fucking do that all day.
Yeah.
Or like to do studio work or whatever. I don't mind doing studio work. Studio work's always fun. I just, I'm over starting something for band wise at least. It's just a lot of effort to corral 4, 5, 6 personalities and make sure they all work out and gel and everybody respects everybody else enough and I've always had a problem with that in the sense that, like, dude, if I'm gonna go put in 4 hours a day on my drums, like you can't be bothered to put in 20 minutes a day on your guitar and make sure you learn your fucking parts
Yeah.
so that we're not sitting here while you noodle with your fucking parts for these fucking sets.
Yeah.
That we've
You've
got,
gotten burned a lot. I'm sensing just from the energy so far that Mike's
Well,
gotten
I mean,
burned more than anyone out of these three.
that was the last band I was in, man. Is
Yeah.
like we had this show coming up for House of Blues. I had just got hired on Amazon, and it was like these guys have been playing the same songs for upwards of a year. I showed up to rehearsal, and they're just like, and we've got these shows coming up, or the show coming up, and they're like, yeah, man, it just doesn't fucking like nothing's tight. And I'm like, how is nothing tight? You guys have had these songs for a year. You've been playing the same songs for a year. What do you mean you don't know your part? I laid into them the same way, kind of like the same way I laid into
Omar.
Bobby.
Bobby,
And
yeah.
I was just like, don't fucking come at me and tell me this is like, it's like and I had been in the band at that point for 9 months. And so like I wasn't gonna be able to make. They wanted to do like a straight week of rehearsals before the show at House of Blues, and I was like, well, I mean, I don't see why I need to be here for that. Like I'm playing to the click. I don't even hear what you guys are doing. I've got the click track in my ear the whole fucking time. The only thing that like I guess I needed to be there for was working on our cover we were doing, which was a Linkin Park song, and we had already nailed that perfectly. So I was like, I don't know what you guys are here for. It turns out they just wanted their old drummer to be back in the band, and they just couldn't like man up and fucking tell me.
Well, it
But
sounds like that
was
was a
like,
group that just wanted their friend group to just play and kind of fuck around with, and
well,
like,
they were gaining traction. Like it was a
yeah.
band that had been around for a long time and was finally starting to see stuff. But like they also couldn't make solid decisions on what they wanted. But it was going back to the whole, I'm tired of busting my ass and then not having that reciprocated by the other 4 or 5 people that
Yeah.
you have to wrangle together. Whereas like if I show up to an already established professional group, I know people they're going to take themselves seriously.
Yeah.
Like I know everybody's going to go home, put in the work to make sure they have their shit learned and ready to go. When you show up to rehearsal, you're having rehearsal. You're not you practice by yourself. You rehearse in a group. The only time that I don't see that as true is the first time you're getting together to like run a song. Everybody's got to figure it out a little bit, and then at that point it's practice. But when you're getting together to run the same shit you've been running for upwards of 2 months, it's kind of obscene to not know your shit.
Yeah.
So
it's time consuming, and I think we've all reached a little bit of a point where we maybe are, I don't know,
Not as
it's a
young as
lot.
you used to be.
Yeah, well, I think
I know what you're talking about.
on top of songwriting and getting together and rehearsing, the DIY culture as far as being in a band is a full-time job in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just imagine you're well rehearsed, say everything is good on stage. There's still behind the scenes that's very exhausting. So to be in that lifestyle, and this is kind of just circling back around to like what it'd be like to do original stuff. It's just to hit the reset button and like be a new band is, well, now we gotta do a hype video and like, I don't know, it's just like a whole brand you have to create.
Yeah, you have to build everything, and I
Yeah.
understand that as someone who's running 3 podcasts, a production company will say I'm helping produce with script and dubbing and getting things down to make sure like the plot makes sense for like a 12 season episode. Like when you're building from the ground up, like you have to be making everything and figuring out how to make everything because you have no money. So that's where like my graphics are me from GIMP and learning how to make those look halfway decent. So like I understand that as much as I can, and I wanted to make sure I got that question out, and we'll get to John in a second for that. But I'm curious like what this band feels like about that, because Mike has I think probably taken it more to heart than anyone else in terms of being this passionate, this hardworking about what he loves in doing music and doing a band. And I cannot fault a bit of Mike's feeling about the whole situation, because it's like I want to play drums for the rest of my life, and that's what I'm about, and that's basically it. Like, if it was going to be original music, that's great, but it's kind of anything. And
Look, man, I'll go back to living in a closet. If it means I get to play fucking shows every day of my life.
Yeah. 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 John, original music, thoughts, wishes, commentary?
Yeah, I mean, all the above of what they said. I would be very interested to see what the three of us would put out. And I think for me, I think there's a bit of a small bit of fear in there that creeps in.
Yeah.
And it's like being good enough for these guys and then being good enough to try and make it as well.
Yeah.
I think that creeps in my mind. But yeah, the whole idea of resetting is exhausting. I mean, to know the amount
I
of
can feel the exhaustion out of the three of you, because you've already done it, and you're all just sitting there like old men, like, oh, fuck that shit.
Yeah, I mean, like,
It's
and that's
like
the
a
thing.
50-year-old man, and he's got like the 30-year-old wife going, I want to have a baby, and he's like, oh no,
Fuck.
I'm gonna be 70 when this motherfucker graduates. No.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's the whole idea. I mean, looking back on it, I mean, thinking about the shows that we played,
Yeah.
loading in $1,000 of equipment to play on stage for 20 minutes to maybe make $10. I mean, if you take away that aspect of it and the whole behind the scenes of trying to brand yourself and trying to get people to come to the shows and trying to build a social media following and all that stuff, I mean, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
and not to say that none of us wouldn't love it or be about it, because I mean,
Right.
like I said, I would go back to living in a house full of guys who meant that we were making music and doing that whole thing. But I mean, it's hard. It's extremely hard.
As she points out.
Yeah, I don't even know what she's doing right now.
That's proper dad babysitting right about now.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I look at it like if you think about like the people that are famous on YouTube and make a living off of YouTube, it's like, how much time do they spend in front of a camera? You know, and it's the same thing for us. How much time we have to spend in front of a camera building things? How much time do we have to spend behind our instruments building things?
Yeah.
Online building things, and it's, I mean, put all the life stuff aside. I mean, it's a full-time job. It's a lot of work. And, I mean, if I were to do it, I mean, I feel like I wouldn't kill myself playing shows anymore as much as we used to. Like, I would enjoy just like recording music and putting it out there and see what happens. Yeah. You know, well, not breaking the bank account, not breaking, you know, our personal lives and our careers and making money and things like that, but just like recording music and just, you know, put it out there and see what happens.
I think that's a huge trend right now. Like, just try to get your song on Spotify playlist and like hope for the best.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
But I mean, yeah, I look at someone like Mike's talent, and I actually thought about this today because I was watching Machine Gun Kelly's new song with Megan Fox or whatever, the video he just put out.
Okay.
See that fucking video.
And I was like, you know what? I watched that video and I thought to myself, the first thing I thought of was Mike, and I was like, you know what? I was like, this is a situation where like Machine Gun Kelly might go on tour for this album. Can't get Travis Barker to play. Who's he gonna find? The next best thing would be like someone like Mike. Yeah. You know, like a hired gun. And like, I would never hold that against him or anything like that. But I mean, it's just like
Machine Gun Kelly.
That would be like
Bloody Valentine.
Hell no. If anything, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mike deserves.
I'm gonna watch that later so I can write my.
And you know what I mean? And the same thing happened to Brett. Like, if some like random ass band was like, hey, we need you to play guitar for a show. Like Coheed and Cambria was like, our guitar player broke his arm. Who do we know who knows all these songs? And then be like, call Brett Lyons. And I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, that's the dream. Like
get the fuck out of this state.
Get the fuck
and go do some shit.
Go do it. You know what I mean? Like,
John, you are such the dad of this band. Like, you are nothing but like it's its own fun romantic storyline of just like the talent, energy, personalities in these two guys are like if anyone's gonna say like not to downplay like your talent or whatnot, but you're the epitome of the person that, and I know these guys, if like they'd have the same energy of if you got an opportunity, they'd kick you in the ass to get you going on it.
Oh
But
Oh,
hell
you,
yeah!
absolutely.
but I
I,
think
I think we have that discussion like once a year. It's like, hey, make sure you don't shoot yourself in the foot just sitting here. Go do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it speaks to, I think, John's personality and also where he's at in life, especially as a new father, where he looks at these two friends of his that I'm guessing John's the oldest out of the trio, and he's like, no, like I have this kind of mindset now, and I want like my boys to like get at it, like
Yeah.
and I think you saying it first doesn't take away from any of the giving that these guys would have, but I definitely like it makes it's a beautiful thing to see the dad energy, that father energy come on out, the
Yeah.
older brother energy to come out for people that you recognize like fantastic talent and energy and personality and ability and discipline.
Yeah, thanks,
Where
man. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. You want to
well,
play a Blink set
it's
for
your
3 hours and
yeah, it's your
make
voice.
our own music,
Yeah.
do that, and
Well, yeah,
I'm down.
for that vein, yeah, but like it's kind of your voice outside of like because I've never gotten any impression talking to Mike that his parents like they gave him good goals or whatnot, like good constructive goals to get to where he wanted to be. But I have yet to hear, and this isn't going to be a knock against Brett or Mike's parents, but you're the first sort of figure to be like, get the fuck at it. You know, it's like this is very clearly like what you're talented and passionate about. And you're gonna spend the rest of your life doing. Like no one's gonna change that. Like
Yeah.
Mike's gonna be sitting there, have to like figure out how to wear his baby when he has children or something like that, and still be going at it like little earplugs in the motherfucker.
Oh, I'll just have one of those backpacks on. It's fine. Like
Yeah,
the little
exactly.
kid backpacks. Or I'll put the little head ear protection on them, and we'll just go at it like that. It'll be all right. Don't worry.
That
I'll
kid's
figure it
gonna
out.
have, that kid's gonna be the whitest kid with the most rhythm out of the entire damn schoolroom. Like, let's go.
Damn, that's good. uh,
So well then yeah, because we were heading in that direction. So then it seems like the relative play instead of just doing the full ground up build the building is just like chill out and write music.
I think that'd be the biggest hurdle right now. Is um, I don't know. I'll write riffs here and there, but I don't. I've just never been like 1,000% confident in my songwriting abilities. So
Mm-hmm.
so like there's that mental block, you know.
Yeah.
Confidence is a lie. Just do it anyway and throw it at the wall.
See what happens.
We're not
Yeah, I guess
we're
so.
not all a machine, Mike, but go on.
I mean, well, no, like that's what I do with drum parts. Even if I'm not like super sure that's what I'm gonna do with it, like I'll still put it out and I'll still like make sure it's there or whatever, and then I can come back to it 6 months later and change it before it gets recorded.
Mm-hmm.
There's always it can be better. There will never ever I don't think I will ever 100% be I'm happy with it with anything I've done. Like at all the records I've done over the years, and it's still like I can look back and be like, yeah, I would never play that like that now. Like
Yeah.
it's because and
Yeah, I think-
that's a huge issue you come into in the studio is like it could always be better, but at some point you have to be like it's good enough for this, and then if you want to do like a re-release or a re-recording later, you can always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brett, I mean, I think maybe the issue is like, you write a guitar part and you're like, I don't know, but like maybe if it got put with something else, like a drum part, a line or something, you might feel better about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost
And-
like at least for Brett, it's like it's writing in a corner instead of writing in a room in a group. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first person to say I can't. I've never been able to write anything that I felt listening to again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I just play bass, but
dum 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 dum. Why does this feel so empty? Dum,
I
dum,
just
dum,
feel so boring.
Hmm.
All right. Well, maybe before the end of the year, we should just at least try it, just to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not all wiped out
Hello.
first.
Oh, we'll be fine. Don't get all apocalyptic now.
It's just when the Disney riots happen next month.
The Disney riots.
Oh man, you know there's gonna be some fucking Disney riots when that shit opens up. They're like, we can only have so many people per day.
And then all the annual pass holders
Fucking-
are like losing their shit.
Yeah.
Fucking Goofy will walk out with an LMG or something. Fucking grenade launcher with tear gas just to quell the riots.
I'm waiting for the protest to break out here, somewhere in Orlando, or somewhere in Florida, about the.
I'd like to think that there's a certain amount of Florida man in all of us, and we actually just don't care. We go between either we know better that it's just a regular flu and act like normal, or
Yeah.
there's enough Florida man that we can't care
Fuck.
enough.
Mike is the first to lose.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you got it.
I know. I went to move and my cord caught under my keyboard and pulled my phone.
Before we started this podcast, Brett's phone dropped like 5 times, just like blowing out my ears.
My bad.
It's all right. At least like it wasn't my phone mic, and it was just the mic attached to my head, so it wasn't so awful.
Yeah.
So, have you guys gotten any vibes on when you could start like performing again, like even in Florida, without because Florida's kind of been like is one of the first states to reopen, so to speak.
That
Yeah.
depends entirely on music venues. I don't know too many places that are allowing shows.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
will
still
say-
huge gatherings.
I will say I was on Park Avenue when, a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I did see like guitar players inside bars, obviously solo acoustic acts performing, and I mean like they were inside the bars. I mean, didn't come and shut them down or anything. I don't know if they got that, but it might be a small step like that. I mean, you might have to break out like the Blink-182 acoustic set they did in Australia
Yeah.
and play that.
Just go
But
sit out there off of Lake Eola or Central Park in Winter Park and just perform until you get a crowd going.
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
Beatles on top of the roof style.
Oh dear.
I honestly I got out of the shower today and was thinking about hitting up. We know we worked pretty frequently with this one promoter, Marshall in Orlando, and I don't know. I was looking through. Someone sent me a snap, and they were like at a bar, kind of like how John said, and there was 2 guitarists, and it's like maybe it's gonna open up sooner than later. So I thought about hitting up Marshall just to be like, hey, like keep us in mind. I'm sure you're getting a lot of requests, but like let's do the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm itching, you know?
Well,
Yes.
when's the last time you all performed?
January.
January.
Do y'all usually try to perform like monthly, or do y'all have like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
It's
like once a
pretty
month
regular.
is a good.
Yeah, y'all are about to hit 5 months of you're 5 shows behind basically.
This next one's got to be gnarly.
Like I can see the
It's gotta be
depression on
5
Mike
months
and
of-
Brett's faces.
It's like I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I've just been working. It sucks.
Yeah, I feel
I
bad for
always-
Mike. He's had to work the entire time.
Yeah, I haven't
I think
been
Brett
off
had a
at
month
all.
and a half off.
You can only touch yourself so many times.
And then you're
Dude,
just
yes.
and then you're just like, I'll do it again, but I won't like it.
Pretty much. That's pretty much. I'm doing it because I have to, not because I want to.
Yeah.
On the 4th time, I'm sweating my ass off.
I got blisters.
Got calluses, sandpaper dick.
Oh god.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
After Wiz, I'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Well, I gotta think of topic lines now because there's a lot of not happening right now.
I did see that Blink-182 was releasing a new
A new what?
A new what?
You keep
a
cutting
new
cut out.
song.
Yeah, you keep cutting out, John. I don't know if it's the Bluetooth.
Oh, sorry.
Or, yeah.
It might be. No, Blink-182 is releasing a new.
A new song.
Did you hear about that, Mike?
No, but I'm gonna go look it up right now.
It's legitimately called Quarantine.
Makes sense. What do we got? See, I'm wondering if he's looking up the music video or like the sheet music for it right now.
Travis Barker is really excited about it very soon. This was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. In a new interview with Spin. decided I was working on it, and his coronavirus birthday this week. It's a Blink song and recorded it. A song called Quarantine. It'll be out in the next 2 weeks.
There you go.
So you've got 3 weeks to get it down.
So apparently Mark's been working on new music.
But we're talking about
Quarantine.
Blink still being a band. Oh, Quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a new song. Apparently, it's about to come out like in the next 2-3 weeks, called Quarantine. So
Interesting.
Mark also has the itch. He's providing.
It's fun because, well, I don't know if this is a good gap or bridge of conversation, but it's funny because like Nirvana, they play the same set. There's no more new music coming out, but
Yeah.
we have something to look forward to like once every couple of years. We're like,
Yeah.
what's the gang up to? What can we try to add to our set?
Yeah. No, that's dope. That is dope to think about. Like you have a living set list, you could say. So yeah. So you guys have been going at this for a few years. So then let's actually have a fun history run of, like, do we have any good Blink-180 Deux stories we can throw out here?
Oh my god.
Dude, I feel like
Let's just run down it. Let's run down it. Like, if we can't do anything, if we're 5 months behind, like playing out, like let's jump back to the last few years.
I feel like
Man.
what was the one where we met the what's his name? The drummer from Yellow Card.
Oh, when we did that that
LP.
4-hour set. That was Christmas or December of 2017.
So I forget what city we were in, but it was like Podunk Town.
Deltona.
It was Deltona.
Fucking Deltona.
Oh dear.
And like for whatever reason, LP, the drummer of Yellow Card, was like hosting this event, and it was like record temperature. It was so cold.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. We were supposed
No
to play
one came
outside
out.
too.
Yeah, no one came out. Definitely not because of us. We had.
Oh, I know. I just know where this is going now. I just remembered it. Go ahead.
dear.
Sorry.
So I feel like there's two good stories here. The first being, LP wanted to drum with us, so maybe Mike could like talk about that. But the funny story is this drunk lady comes. We were supposed to have an outside
I
stage.
love they're both
but
just like, oh god, no, not this.
I
Not this.
just remember this too. I forgot about it.
It's so funny.
God.
So we're supposed to have an outside stage. Instead, we're playing inside. It's way too cold. And we're in this like tiny room in the bar, and we're playing, and people start laughing at us. I'm like not really sure what's going on. And I look over, and this lady like walked onto the stage, just our side of the room, and she's like, titties out, and they're like, oh my god, they are
They're like-
Christmas stocking titties. They're like,
Oh gosh. Like they're actually out of her shirt or dress or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
they're like down.
They're
And
out.
She picked the longest song of the entire set.
Oh
What
geez.
Just
song?
like it was during A New Hope,
Oh,
which is like 4 minutes, and she has her titties out dancing the entire time, and it was like 2 raw eggs hanging from a nail, just like. Oh god, it was so embarrassing.
I luckily missed all of it because she wasn't facing me.
Oh jeez. You just got to see like little flicks like coming around the side or whatnot. Just-
And there's video of it somewhere.
we just have
Yep.
that charm, you know.
You just bring out the best in people, don't you guys?
Yeah.
Boy, let me tell you.
All right, what was the other half of that one? Because it was LP from Yellow Card, the drummer.
Oh, right. It was like towards the end of our fucking night, and LP was trashed and wanted to play drums, and I was fucking tired, so I was like, yeah, man, sure, whatever. Pick 3 or 4 songs, and then we'll close it out. So LP drunkenly played some songs for All the Small Things and Anthem 2.
Yeah, we
I
played
think.
Blink songs with the Yellow Card drummer. Like, what a
And then he was like, do you guys know any Yellow Card?
Oh my god, yeah. And we were
I
like,
didn't
we
think
talked
that was
about
gonna
it.
happen.
Remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
did.
talked
We
about it.
beforehand. Like,
We
don't
were
do
like,
it.
should we learn any yellow card? Like, I don't know if he wants to play any or like he probably won't want to because he got essentially kicked out of the band. I mean, like, nah.
I didn't even
Well,
think he'd talk to us. I didn't even think. I thought he would
Straight.
like host it and then like disappear.
yeah, like an appearance only.
I was like, I don't need to learn it. Fast
And
forward.
then he fucking asks us about it, and we're like, fuck!
Oh my god.
Damn it. So I'm learning the chords on the spot. Someone's holding a phone in front of me, like with the tabs.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Wow.
I think we played Can't Stop also.
Okay.
Yeah, remember he was like, "Do you guys know any top?" This guy's hammered.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Let's see. When we were in South Carolina, we had played the House of Blues there in Myrtle Beach, and
Oh, shit.
we had rode up with the guys from Nirvana there,
Winnebago.
pretty much, yeah. So we were at their mercy as far as like traveling. We had to get our own hotel, we didn't have whatever. But we play the show, we get all packed up, and we get back on the Winnebago. There is this very lovely late 40s woman with a awkward hairpiece on the Winnebago that apparently knows the guys. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, we're all sitting there trying to relax. I know her titties are out.
Oh gosh.
Her titties are out, and she's just walking around the Winnebago, and I'm like filming it in the back. It's on my Snapchat still. But like, we're gonna talk about the most like random person like in our history. It was probably that chick with her boobies out on the Winnebago.
Just being like a 40-year-old groupie to a bunch of tribute bands.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Needless to say, we all gangbanged her.
But I went last.
He coached us.
Oh,
Oh, God.
of course, Daddy would.
Hey man, you ever lube up an armpit?
No.
Change your life.
What?
It'll change your life.
Not for the
That's
better,
what-
but it'll change your life.
That's what needs to be in your Tinder account. I like to lube up armpits.
I'm disarmed on that one right now. I don't know how to like it's like what were the other 3 holes filled and you were still desperate for attention?
Yeah, pretty much, man.
It's like this? No. I need you like this. I need you like this so you can do this and this and move
Clap
your
your
body.
wings.
Yeah. Wow.
Your wiener's here. Well, she has one in her hand.
That's where we're going here. At that point, you can go 1, 2, 3, like 4, 5, like somehow in the center.
7 even.
Yeah. You know, 2 in the back, 2 in the front, on the bottom side. Like, gosh, this is uncomfortable.
Mike, any stories you'd like to share?
Any more titties out?
Dude, I can't like think of a whole lot of them. There's those. Trying to remember all the fucking shows we played and any other crazy ass bullshit.
Oh, what about the 2 girls that came into the green room when we played St. Pete?
I still, I don't know. Nothing happened. So
I wasn't there for that, but I mean, I felt like there was something there.
They could make it up like right now and no one would know the wiser.
We did intravenous drugs. They showed us their.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah. That's how memorable that was. It took a fucking minute.
I feel like
Yeah, I think one of them was just trying to get Brett's number, and then just it just didn't go through.
I can't close. I'm not a good closer.
It does. I mean, we are like in that sense a very lame band because like we don't do drugs, we don't drink heavily, like we don't party after our shows.
You don't call them back when they get your number, like
No, like we just. I mean, like
you guys are
if you were to come like,
musicians. You guys are musicians, like not traditional rock stars, basically.
yeah. I mean, if you look at us like we take the stage, we're literally just like on our phones by ourselves. Like we're not just like
Well, I
there's no
think
girls. Like
maybe we're a little still too fresh to that. Like these are some of the bigger shows we played. I think we just don't want to make a bad impression to like the
Yeah.
production manager. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
like we're on your time. You're doing a job too. Let's not get fucked up.
Yeah.
You guys are too professional, basically, for your own good.
We're
Well,
too.
the other part is like after a show, man, I've still got like a fuck ton of shit I gotta break down and load up. Like I don't have time to like get off stage and then immediately go and try and slay some puss. Like I got $4,000 worth of material to fucking pack up and make sure it's good. Like I don't yeah, it's not worth it. Like
That's some
I
old.
got shit to do.
That's some old man energy right there, Mike.
He's not
No,
wrong.
it's not
though.
old man energy. It's
Oh.
like $4,000 worth of equipment to make sure it doesn't get fucked up is a lot of money worth of equipment to make sure it doesn't get
No,
fucked up.
I could feel that. I could feel that when I've had to like do podcasts in coffee shops and stuff.
Yeah,
We don't have roadies.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're not famous enough for that.
All right, child.
That being said, I don't know. Like it's if I had roadies, yeah, sure, I'd go out and be an asshole after a show and like hit on everything that moved. And sometimes we do that. Sometimes we don't. We just have
We
to have
have
a
our
really good
fun.
night for that to happen. Yeah.
We have our fun.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. No, that's cool. This is actually kind of. It's really lucky that you all have landed such a perfect sort of union here, of just
Yeah.
having fun playing like your childhood heroes. What's he doing with the baby?
What is going on behind the
I
scenes
feel like he was
there?
like turning a ratchet or
Sorry.
something like that with how that was sounding. Just
I have to
Kinsley, don't hit him too hard.
I gotta change a diaper.
All right, BRB.
yeah, that'll be go.
Oh wait, describe it.
Oh jeez. Oh
No,
yeah,
don't
yeah,
describe
yeah, yeah. We were gonna make a little micro audiobook about like. Alrighty,
How
John.
to change a diaper?
Yeah, John, could you please give us the play-by-play of exchanging the fecal matter and in for fresh linens?
So simply unsnap the ones.
Oh, he can still hear us. I didn't know that. Let me get him back up because I've been muting him a bit while the baby's been like playing drums on the coffee table. You're on, John. Let's go.
So unsnap the onesie, remove soiled diaper. I can do any fecal matter to baby wipes.
Oh, you've
Luckily for
mastered
me,
it.
I've mastered it. Luckily for me, there's only
There's only what?
so it's only wet.
Okay.
Oh.
So just simple place diaper, put it back
Oh,
on, good to
gotcha.
go. But the key is keeping her distracted, changing the diaper. So right now she has a tube of lube in her hand.
All right.
Things got freaky last night, Friday night, you know.
What?
Sarah try pegging you again?
Always. International Women's
Yeah.
Day is every day at this house.
Oh wow. Well then, I guess we know who goes last for sure.
John Boy.
Right. Goodness.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's about it. That sounds like that's about it then.
That's
So
it. Yeah.
we're just on hold until we get to the next venue opportunity and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's sooner than later.
Yeah.
Seems like life's getting back to normal, day by day,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation, you know.
Yeah.
Look,
definitely.
I just don't want that traffic to come back. I like being able to drive 70 miles an hour wherever I go,
Yeah.
even on fucking neighborhood roads.
Great job.
Fuck them kids. They're not my kids.
Hey now.
That's some letter Kenny energy right there. I can appreciate it. Oh.
I'll break for dogs, but 99% of small children, not so much. There's like 5 small children in the world I'll break for. Yes, Kinsley being one of them. Brett, you got it.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure.
must confirm. Alrighty then. I think we can actually, unless you guys wanted to bring up anything specific, drop where everyone can find you at, and where they can like keep in touch for when we actually get back into performing in normal life.
Facebook is the band page. We just have a Blink-180 Do, a tribute to Blink-182. Boy, let me tell you, that's not a mouthful.
It's spelled Deux.
Yes, it's Blink-182 in French.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
180 Do.
Yeah.
I think we all have our respective Instagram, Twitter pages, Snapchats, Grinders, Twitters, Pornhub accounts,
OnlyFans.
Pornhub Premium, OnlyFans, Patreon.
Mike, start listing all yours off then. We'll go one by one. Here.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Your Pornhub
it's either
account
ML
now?
Batista or ML Bone Daddy for either one of those for all of them, I think. I'm not entirely certain which one is which on there's.
He's lost all track. Brett?
His OnlyFans is Boner Daddy instead of Bone Daddy.
Proper.
You got it.
Nailed it.
Lemonparty.com.
Fucking gross. Gross.
Look. If they fall for it, it's their own fault.
Oh God. I have to try to forget this now, so I don't look it up later after this podcast and ruin my.
Meatspin.gov.
Oh,
.gov.
.edu.
Oh God.
What other great websites are there? It's,
Were you like a big fan of StumbleUpon back in the day and just came across
my
these horrible
God.
places?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
What a throwback.
Ew, dude. Oh, some scary things on that.
Yeah, but there was also, you could curate it to your liking. You can make it fun and educational.
And
Could.
not send you to the dark web on accident.
But did you?
Yeah, but did you?
Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, it's like the random feature on Reddit. Like 9 times out of 10, you really don't want to go there, but you do anyway.
That's fair. Brett,
Unfortunately, I don't think there's really anything to promote, which is unfortunate. But as soon as there's new gigs scheduled and lined up and the world's back to normal and blah, 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 the internet will be the best way to figure it out. So
yeah.
Facebook, Blink-180 Do, and Instagram, Blink-180 Do.
Awesome. Then we'll get that set up. Thanks, guys, for coming on out. And
Yeah, man.
we will see everyone later.
All right.
All right, guys. Peace out.